You know what time it is? It is 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and this is the Power Biz Show. We are so excited to have you. I want to give a quick hello and good evening to all of our listeners. If you are listening right now in the Fort Lauderdale, Boca Raton area, Deerfield Beach on the radio, I want to say hello, hello. Hey, girl. Hey, guy. Hey, how are you? Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for being a loyal listener. Now, listen, of course, I could never forget our social media audience. We appreciate you. Hello, YouTube. Hello, Facebook Live. Hello, Periscope. Don't forget that sharing is caring. Sharing this out may be the best gift you give someone today. You never know how your message, how your share can impact someone on your news feed. So don't be afraid. Go ahead and hit that share button. The Power Biz Show is powerfully sponsored by Bloomberg Business Week, and I'm so excited to be your co-host, Ann Charlias. If you have not heard of me before, if this is your first time tuning in, let me tell you a little bit about myself. You know, my clients call me the mogul maker, the queen of cash flow, the wealth creator. I help entrepreneurs grow their business with impact, with results, with influence, and with income. Can we say income? Yes, we can. We are so excited because guess what? It's the holiday season. So it is a great time for most retail businesses. It's their best time of the year as it pertains to the balance sheet. And we are here as three amazing business coaches, business consultants to really empower you so that you can power up and soar in your business. Now, I have on the line today Kristen. Kristen, are you there? Kristen of KRD Marketing out of New Orleans. Can you hear me? Okay, I cannot hear her, but as we work in the back of the
Oh,
house and
can you hear
figure
me
it,
now?
are you there now?
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. How are you?
How are you? Sorry about that.
No, that's fine. That's fine. Listen, we love technology. Technology is amazing, but just like everything in life, it's not 100%. It's about 98%, 99%. So we're glad to have you here. And as soon as you patch in via video, we'll also show you on video. Let me know when you have the green light on your end and you've logged in so that we can see your video. But while we're waiting for that to happen, please introduce yourself to our audience.
Hi, I am Kristen Robinson. I am known as the lead generation specialist of KR Design, and I help entrepreneurs generate more leads online using online marketing.
Wonderful. And listen, entrepreneurs, we need leads. We need leads. Can you tell the audience a little bit about your experience?
Yeah, so it's so funny. So how I actually ended up doing what I was doing was my husband's in the Marine Corps. He serves our country's military, and I had just started my business in North Carolina, and we had gotten our first batch of orders to move to Hawaii, which was awesome, right? Everyone wants to move to Hawaii. And when we moved, I actually lost 90% of my clients because I've been building my business offline and not sustained an online presence. So that move taught me a lot and taught me I need to be online. And now it's funny, we're kind of on the flip side. We're about 100% online on the other end of the spectrum.
Absolutely. That is the beauty of being online, that your zip code, where you live, where you're traveling on vacation for a speaking engagement, it won't matter because as long as you have Wi Fi, internet access, technology, you really have access to your clients and you can still do a powerful job for them. Now, today's discussion, Kristen, has to do with Thanksgiving with a little spin. Maybe you've seen the hashtags all over social media this past week, but there is a new thing, at least it's new to me, called Friendsgiving. You've heard of Thanksgiving, but then they have a hashtag called Friendsgiving. And this is where friends get together. And I think it was a very powerful hashtag because it immediately made me think of networking. Because I see my prospective clients, my current clients, I see them as friends, as colleagues. And so, Friendsgiving is a moment for us to really help you, the audience, get equipped so that you can network like a superstar, network with power. So, what are some tips and tricks you can give the audience, Kristen, about Friendsgiving as it relates to networking?
Well, I think that's very timely because today is Giving Tuesday. So how interesting is that, right? We have our Small Business Saturday, Cyber Black Friday, Cyber Monday, and today is Giving Tuesday. So how timely is that it's, Friendsgiving? So I just wanted to kind of give a shout out to that hashtag as well. It's a very popular one that I love a lot. But when it comes to friends and networking, it's funny, like when you're online, it's so funny. One of my members of my live stream squad, she calls us invisible friends, right? Like that's what her son calls us, invisible friends, because he's like, Mom, are you talking to your invisible friends again? Which is really, really funny and timely. So, but as far as an online perspective, because we really don't see each other, one of the things that I find very, very awesome is, as far as Friendsgiving, is actually helping people make those connections. And that can go for offline too, because it's funny, like sometimes, and I know I'm not the only one, but sometimes we have so many people in our mind that should meet that we think they should have met already, at least they have in our minds. And so when we go to introduce them, it's like, oh, don't you know each other? And it's like, no. And you want to make that step and make it easy for them. So I think as far as Friendsgiving, when you called for, networking and everything, it would be very timely if you actually took proactive action and actually made those connections for people versus, here's an email, you know what I mean? Like, actually really try to get these people connected.
Absolutely. Oftentimes making new friends are difficult. I see life as a big high school, and we all remember that first day of high school really difficult to try to create new bonds of friendship. Now, are you an extrovert or an introvert, Kristen?
Oh, extrovert.
Oh, you're an extrovert. Okay.
Extrovert.
Okay. So, is there a difference from your professional opinion on how an extrovert should handle their networking and growing friendships in business versus an introvert?
Yes, definitely. Oh, there I am. Yay. Definitely yes. It's funny. So one of my best accountability partners, she's a complete extrovert. Actually, we nicknamed ourselves Yin and Yang because we are very together but very different. And I have found that she hates networking. She really, really does. And so basically one of the things that I am conscious of when we're together is how much of her energy that she's putting out when we're out together networking at big, events, different events we go to in San Diego, Dallas or, DC or wherever we're at. I really take a cautious note of how much energy she's putting out because for her, that drains her. Versus for me, that gives me energy. So I always try to make a conscious effort of how much energy she's actually expending. And then also being very patient with her when she's like, I can't make that evening networking. And actually just saying, well, I got to go because I want to meet people and I have to get out, and just looking at, but understanding how we're both, different and we handle things differently, but also being patient. Because I know for some extroverts, that's a little hard for us to accept. What do you mean you don't want to be around people? What do you mean you don't want to get out? And so I just take a careful note of when we do things together that sometimes she doesn't always want to hang out with me, right? It's going to be me flying solo, or sometimes she just looks totally drained, and I'm just saying, okay, well, let's take 5 and get some fresh air, or let's go back to the room and take and just chill out for a second. So as an extrovert, and if you have introverted friends, which most extroverts do draw in introverts, you have to be conscious of that.
Absolutely. And another thing that I noticed, hey, Alicia Mailer Maxwell of No Fear in Finance. Definitely check her out. She just patched in via Facebook. We love our Facebook Live viewers. Thank you for commenting. Thank you for being a loyal watcher and listener. But you're absolutely right. It is incredibly important to realize the group that you are, what their styles are. And I think there's a lot of good that can come when you mix styles. You know, sometimes people may think, well, if I'm an introvert, I only want introverts around me. Or if I'm an extrovert, I only want extroverts around me. I think that a strong group has that mix because there are strengths and weaknesses of each group. I'm like you know, I walk into a room and I want to make friends, I want to smile and be that cheerleader. But guess what? I may miss some of the details because I'm just like a chicken with their head cut off running around the room because I'm so energized by having so many people around me that, you know what, if I have a wing woman or wing man who's an introvert, they may be able to say, "Oh, remember this person?" or "Oh, you left the card on the on the table, the cocktail table," or "Oh, I have a hard time remembering names sometimes. Oh, their name is such and such." And so having that mix of friendships definitely is important. Now, in your business, what was the last networking activity that you did? What were some best practices you performed that you can actually share with the audience?
So I just came back, well, not that long ago, less than 2 months ago. I was in Dallas for Jeff Walker's LaunchCon event, and it was funny for an extrovert. It was actually overwhelming for me because there was 800 people in the room, and I'm just like, whoa, it's a lot of people. And what I found was interesting was for me was how many people from different countries there were. There were people from 38 different countries. There were people who did not speak English. Now, mind you, Jeff Walker is like from Colorado. He's about as like, country as you can get, right? So he's from Colorado. He has a ranch. You get the idea. So for people to not, like people from Japan flew in and not speaking English, you're just like, oh my gosh. Like all you heard was Jeff talking, and then you heard they had their phone and were like translating in their language, and they're scribbling notes. So for me, the big takeaway was, okay, I need to speak pretty slow because for some people who are from Brazil or who speak Portuguese, if I'm talking as fast as I normally do to like an English-speaking person, they're going to be like, what? I don't understand what you're saying. So just being aware of that event, going, oh my gosh, not everyone in here speaks English, and then going, well, what languages do I speak? I do speak Spanish, so at least like if someone comes up to me and speaks Spanish, I can speak back and conversate. But just knowing that there were people who spoke Portuguese, there were people who spoke Japanese, there were people who spoke Mandarin, there were people who spoke Cantonese, there were people you get the idea. So English was not their first language, it was their second language, or they're just trying to learn English. So just being consciously aware of you can't talk as fast, you probably can't use a lot of the slang words you probably use, but at the same time, we're all online marketers. So we have our own language that we use. So being aware of, okay, I can't use my slang language, but I can definitely use my online marketing language and to speak a little slower. It'll work out. It'll be all good.
Exactly. And it's so interesting. For me, when I started my entrepreneurial journey, I did not think that I would be on 6 out of 7 continents like I am today. But because the majority of us are using online marketing in one shape or another, we really all become global business leaders. And so it's very important that we pay attention to the tips that Kristen just great sage advice, because the reality is you don't know what your listeners speak. They may be speaking another language. They may be traveling into your event. They may be in the same city as you as their residents, and they still don't speak English, or maybe they do and it's a second language. And so we do need to slow it down. It's interesting, when I was a director of salespeople in corporate America, I told them the same concept dealing with telephone sales. You have to slow the pace of your speech down so that people can hear you, so they can listen, so they can contemplate and think about what you're saying while you're saying it. But if you're all fires, all guns a-blazing, it's going to be hard for people to keep track of you and really understand where you are. They're going to feel like they're on this race car to nowhere. So great, great, great point. Now, do you have a networking event that's upcoming that we should know about?
Mm.
Or are you just staying in for the holidays? You're like, okay, done for the traveling for the rest of the year.
I'm done with the traveling for the rest of the year, but I am gearing up for my own 3-day event, Lead Gen Game Plan Live, which is going to be in New Orleans, April 20th to the 22nd. So we just started ticket sales. Oh my gosh. So yeah, so starting that is actually, when you plan your own event, that's another thing you got to think about is incorporating that networking time. So I'm actually getting to be on the other side as the host going, okay, other than lunch and break, what are other opportunities that people can really spend time to get to know each other? Because that is a big reason why people come to events. They don't really come, they come to learn, but the networking is also super important. They want to actually make the most of their time there if they're writing it off as a business expense. So for me, yes, I'm staying in for the holidays, but I get to look at it from a different lens this time as a host about networking opportunities.
Absolutely. And as a host, I think you're going to probably glean so much from the other side because it's difficult as a host sometimes because not only are you shaving time from the content day, right? Because you need time set aside, but you don't want people to feel rushed. I know if I'm at a networking event, I would hate to feel rushed. So having ample time and maybe having some type of exercise or activity that forces people to connect, something fun and interesting, because it's hard. One of the things people sometimes ask me is, well, why are you so comfortable approaching new people at an event? And one of the things I've learned is that everyone in the room is a little nervous, has a little trepidation. So guess what? We're all in it together. No one's looking at you thinking, I don't want to talk to that person. I don't want to talk to that person. Most people are very open and very receptive. We're closing on the first 20 minutes of our show. Kristen, please tell the audience how they can connect with you. And if you have any products, services that are currently available, please share with the audience.
Sure.
Sure.
So for
So for
social
social
media, you
media,
can
you
find
can
me on
find me on
Periscope,
Periscope,
Facebook, and
Facebook, and
Instagram at
Instagram at
KRD
KRD
Marketing.
Marketing.
We're
We're
Charity
Charity
Marketing
Marketing
everywhere, but
everywhere,
that's
but that's
the
the
three. If you
three.
want
If
to
you
nail
want to
me
nail me
down
down
somewhere, those
somewhere,
are the
those
three
are the
where you're
three
going
where
to
you're going to
find me
find me.
and get great tips and learn more about the event that's coming up. Today is Giving Tuesday, so I have extended my Cyber Monday sale for Giving Tuesday. If you go to Kristen, Kristen, the letter R, design.com/Black Friday, you will see not only can you buy a ticket to my event at $47, which it'll never be that low again, you'll also see a half VIP day you can buy and work with me one-on-one, and you can also see where you can buy the Ultimate Facebook Ads Bundle. And for each product that you purchase is a different level of giving. And the more you buy, the more you donate. So if you buy my half VIP day, which is at $9.97, which is 67% off, 50% of that $1,000 will be going to a veteran in need. So that's $500 donation that you'll be giving to a veteran in need for Giving Tuesday. And every product has its own percentage of donation, 50, 25, and 10. And you'll see that actually on the page. So if you want to go to Kristen, Kristen, go to rdesign.com/Black Friday. This will be going on until midnight of Giving Tuesday, midnight Eastern time, where we will be donating. And for the people who've already purchased, don't worry, your sale has counted. And we have a certain goal. We have a $500 goal that we were trying to hit, and we're about I think at about 100. So we got a little bit more to go. But I know people wait to the last minute. But that's you. You wait to the last minute, which I know it is. Make sure you go there and help a veteran in need today for Giving Tuesday.
Oh, that is so wonderful. And thank you so much. Thank you so much for what you do. You make a huge sacrifice to our country. I'm one of those believers that when you are married to a military person, you are in service also, right? Because you go where
Yes.
they go. So we thank you so much for your husband's service, for your service, your heart of giving. And thank you for jumping on in from New Orleans. Orleans. You have a beautiful night, Kristen, and we're going to go from New Orleans to Atlanta, Georgia, where we're going to be speaking with Benicia Ponder. Benicia Ponder, are you there?
Yes, happy Tuesday, Ann.
Happy Tuesday! One of my favorite days of the week because of you and Kristen. So
Oh,
please introduce yourself to our audience.
well, hello, everyone. I am Benicia Ponder of LuminaryAuthors.com, helping you to write, publish, and promote best-selling inspirational books. I absolutely love being a host of this show. So I am an author coach, I am a publishing coach, and I'm also a proud Miami University mommy. So I have ties to South Florida. And I'm loving what Miami's doing right now. So yeah, that's a little bit about me. Really just helping you to get your message into the world. And we're talking about growing your business and increasing your impact and your income. Your message is the key for that. And so I help you to get clear about your message, get confident in sharing it, and then generate cash flow as you share your message.
Absolutely. And, I love what you do. I love what it stands for because, listen, we all have a story. We all have a voice. And thank goodness for people like Benicia Ponder, who's one of the best in the field, helping people really birth their story into the world and really making an impact on so many lives. Now that we've said that, I want to talk about today's topic, Friendsgiving. Obviously, we know that you have a giving heart. Have you ever heard of Friendsgiving before? Is this the first year you've heard of it?
This is the first year I've heard of it. I've heard of Giving Tuesday, which is all about giving back to charities and organizations that do good. And I've never heard Friendsgiving until you mentioned it earlier. So I'm excited. I'm excited about this because it just really is a new level of community and collaboration, shining our lights in the world.
Absolutely. And I thought it was pretty fun and interesting. And it's a different way to celebrate Thanksgiving. Giving gratitude and thanks is incredibly important. We talked about that last week on the show. But giving a different spin on giving and the power of collaboration and networking. So incredibly important, especially if you're an entrepreneur, because you cannot be in business and you're your only customer. You cannot be in business and you're the only client. If you're an entrepreneur, you have to get out there and have Friendsgiving every day, every day.
Mm-hmm.
That being
Mm-hmm.
said, Benicia, what are some tips, tricks, hacks you can give the listening audience about networking and really having that spirit of Friendsgiving?
Well, I think the very first strategy for networking is to really understand about who you are and how you show up in the world. I think a lot of times when we are attempting to interact with others, whether it be at a networking event or even on social media when we're presenting ourselves, we have a tendency to try to morph into something that we think others want us to look like. And so we tend to change our personality or we tend to change our energy. I love it when you ask Kristen, is she an extrovert or an introvert? And you have to know that. I am an introvert. And it doesn't mean that I'm shy or I'm nervous around people. It's just the way that I get my energy. And so I love being around people. I love speaking on stages. I love interacting. But there comes a point when I need to get energy. My energy comes from within. And so in order for me to be around a lot of people, I have to have that time where I'm inner with me by myself to get my energy back up. And so, when I was networking in the beginning, I would go to a lot of networking events and meet people and do all these things and be totally drained, but never acknowledge the fact that, hey, you need to take time for yourself. And when I started to get really clear about who I am and how I can best show up with other people, then I was better able to connect, to collaborate, to show up in a powerful way because I'm doing it from my inner strength, from my authentic place. And if I have any advice for those of you listening to us tonight, it's the fact that you have to really come from an authentic place. Don't try to network with a mask on. Don't try to network trying to be someone else. Be true to who you are. Be authentically comfortable with who you are.
I absolutely love that. Authenticity is so imperative because anything other than being authentic, to be quite frank, is fatiguing. Like, how long can you really keep that going and be passionate and excited about it?
Right, exactly. And, what happens is we show up, and you see this a lot on social media especially. You show up one way, and you show up, with this whole facade of who you are and what you do and all these other things, how you show up on social media or even at a networking event. And when someone sees you in the grocery store or they see you just in regular settings, then they're like, is that her? Is that who you are? You don't look like who you look like on social media. You don't sound like that. And so one of the things is you portray yourself as someone you're not. And when people actually engage and interact with you, it's like you've done a bait and switch. And so the best way, I think I was commenting about this earlier because I talked about authenticity earlier today on the business broadcast on my Facebook page. And I talking about how draining it can be to have multiple personalities. If you're trying to be Miss Energetic all the time and somebody meets you and that's just not who you are, but you're putting on that facade, it's hard to switch back and forth to go, to try to be someone you're not. And so it really is important for you to embrace who you are when you are interacting with others.
Absolutely. Embrace it. And, the other thing, and I would love to see your feedback on the concept, is that networking is not just about collecting contacts, it's not just about collecting names and telephone numbers. It's really about building, fostering, planting relationships, growing in relationship. What are your thoughts on that?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think that our culture is sometimes so jaded and has things so mixed up where there is a value in quantity over quality, and there's a value in title or how many friends I have on Facebook or how many likes I have, and you're not really concerned about the quality of those relationships. I take a 100 like Facebook page with lots of engagement, lots of people who are interacting in community over a 5,000 like Facebook page where no one even likes your post or no one even comments. And so there is a tendency for us to rack up all of these numbers and all of these statistics and forget that people engage with people they know, that they like, that they trust, that they have a connection with. And so I am, Ann, because we've talked about it before offline, but over the past month, I've been dealing with just some issues where I had an injury to my eye. Today I had the procedure and it went absolutely well. But for the past month or so, I haven't been able to produce as much as I did before just because of my health issues. And there were some people who I've built relationships with who said, hey, let me help you. If you have a client who you need help with, and these are some ghostwriters that I built community with, if you have a client, I'll help you out, and you can, you can pay me a little bit or whatever, but I'll help you to service those clients. I've had people who really just stepped up, and even though on the outside it looks like we are in competition, we're actually in collaboration with each other. We're actually colleagues, and so it was just a wonderful thing, because there were also some people who I've done business with who said, "Oh, okay, well, just let me know when you're better, and I'll talk to you then," kind of thing, right? And I could tell that those weren't the people who I built relationships with. They were just colleagues, or just business acquaintances. But when it really comes down to the quality of the matter, people who you have built a relationship with, who you've connected with, who you've gotten to know, that kind of thing can't happen if you're just focusing on numbers, and if you're just focusing on trying to rack up statistics. You really want to focus on building relationships with people that you're networking with. And so I'd rather spend my time at a networking event with one or two people than trying to float around the whole room gathering as many business cards as I can, because I know that those one or two people I establish that relationship with could be future accountability partners, could be future collaborators and joint venture partners, could be people who I can support in the future. And so it really is important that we focus on the quality of our relationships.
Absolutely love that. And it's hard because we live in this age where statistics and the numbers and your identified influence is being tracked by how many hearts, how many likes, how many everything, right? How many followers. And you're absolutely right. So often I interact and speak with people on a daily basis that has all the followers, but guess what? There's no engagement, there's no monetization. It's all for looks, and it's all in the exterior front, but there's really no root system. They're really not grounded. It's not really a true business. The best example is a couple of months ago, I spoke to someone who is an employee at Sephora making an hourly wage, who has over like 20, 30,000 followers on Instagram, a huge YouTube, but guess what? Is making $0 from it. $0. And so we cannot get so tied in to the numbers that we really forget why we're in business. And the why is about impact. The why is also about income. The why is about passion. So absolutely, I totally agree about that. And I agree with what you said. It's about making that impact when you're at the event, not just running around and collecting cards. There's a balance there. Obviously, you don't want to just be caked up with two people that it's really not going to go anywhere because they're just not on the same page. There's no true connection. But again, you don't also want to be that person who really hasn't made an impact on anyone. You just have collected a whole bunch of cards. And if that's the case, you could have sent someone to do that for you. You didn't even have to waste your time, right? So you're absolutely right. Now, on the internet, social media wise, do you have any networking tips that work well for online platforms?
Yes, absolutely. In addition to being who you are, being real, definitely making sure that you are showing up for other people. Because a lot of times we focus on what I can get, what I can have, and look at me kind of thing. But really, when you are building relationships, and I did a webinar on this a couple of weeks ago about relationship marketing and how you actually are able to attract clients and build your business as you're sharing your message by building relationships. Well, here's the thing about building relationships. It's not a one-sided thing. There's a give and a take. And I am a firm believer of the principle, the law of reciprocity. You reap what you sow. And so when you sow into other people, for instance, showing up on Periscope, there are super hearts now on Periscope. And so what I do is I purchase some super hearts and I give super hearts, right? Because I know that sowing into someone else, giving to someone else, and really encouraging someone else brings that back to me. Maybe not from that person, but in the grand scheme of things, it comes back to me. So showing up on other people's platforms, encouraging them, sharing them out, and really showing that, hey, I'm interested in helping you. For instance, as an author coach and a publishing coach, I help people to get their messages into the world. And so sometimes I see messengers who are doing great things, and so I'll share them out. I know they could be doing it a little better, so I may inbox them and say, hey, did you think about this? Did you think about that? And giving of yourself. We're talking about friends giving of yourself to help someone else, and not always thinking about what is my next sales move. Of course, you're going to have a way for people to connect with you and to buy your products and services. But when you lead with, hey, I want to serve, I want to make an impact, the income is going to follow. I mean, that's what I've talked about from the very beginning of my time in this whole space of personal and professional development. It has to be both the impact and the income. It's the purpose, why you are here to serve, as well as the prosperity, bringing it back to you so that you can thrive. So the impact and the income go hand in hand. When you make a great impact, you're going to have abundant income. And so if we focus on that continuous circle of impact and income, impact and income, the more income you make, the more impact you have. The more impact you have, the more income you make. And you really understand that cycle. I think it was Zig Ziglar who said that the more you give, if you want to get what you want, and I'm paraphrasing it here, but the more you give other people what they need and what they want, the more you are able to get what you want. And it's just that law of reciprocity that we see. So giving and sharing and allowing serving other people is really what helps you to take your life, your business to that next level.
Absolutely. Our next segment of the show has come and gone, but before we move to my answers and my response, please share with the audience how they can connect with you, what you have going on for this amazing holiday season, and how they can reach you.
Well, what I have going on for this holiday season is just a continuation of what I do all year long, helping you to unleash your God-given genius into the world, and really specifically helping you to write, to publish, and to promote a best-selling transformational book. So if you've been sitting on a book, if you have a book inside of you and you've been trying to write that book for the past 10 years, then we need to talk, because I want to help you to get it done, get into the world, so it can start making the difference that you were born to make. So what I am doing, and of course it does require that we speak, because we have to make sure that we're a great match for each other, but I am offering discounts on all of my services through Illumination Press and through Luminary Authors, so ghostwriting, publishing, and author coaching. Text the word author to 31996. That's author, AUTHOR, to 31996. We'll have a complimentary consultation where we can talk about your idea and all those great things, and I can help you to take your next success step. So text the word author to 31996.
And I can speak because I've seen it happen before my eyes. Benicia Ponder is definitely the one for you if you are looking to take something that is only an idea, only a dream, and actually make it reality. If you have a story, she has a proven track record. And not only does she help individuals become best-selling authors, best-selling author. She's done that multiple times. But in addition to that, she has the network and ability to take it to the next level. I know you're in discussions with maybe a TV production from or a movie production from one of your authors who you've worked with. So she's the girl. If that is on your to-do list, listen, don't wait until 2018. Don't wait until January. You can start right now. One step right now. Contact her. And one more time, what is the text message that they can send you so they can be in collaboration and connection with you?
Yeah, so text the word author, 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 to 31996.
Wonderful, wonderful. Thank you, Benicia. And please stay on the line while I go through my tips, tricks, and hacks. But, one of the things that I love is networking. I love meeting new people, being exposed to new ideas. It is amazing because it allows you to grow. Not only are you able, when you're networking, to be able to put seeds and really plant hope and inspiration in someone else's life, you're able to get the same in return. And as you guys know, just before Thanksgiving, I traveled all the way to Minnesota, cold Minnesota. It was 18 degrees one day. Not only did I meet up with friends, I actually had a couple of meetings. I was able to also meet a group of amazing women who were having their vision party. The platform is called Shift, and it was amazing. And I was able to do that through networking on Facebook. You don't need a car. You don't need to drive somewhere. I got the position of guest speaker at this event through networking on Facebook. And I'm going to give you guys the tips and tricks that I use to be able to do that. But I just want to share this picture. If you can see the picture. This is the picture of us creating a circle. In Minnesota, we created a circle. That's just one of the things where we lifted each other in prayer, hope, and hopes of transformation for an amazing 2018. If you've never heard of a vision party before, a vision party is where typically women, but men can do it too, come together. They talk about change, they talk about transformation, they learn the skills that they're going to need to really walk in the direction of their destiny. And then oftentimes we have magazines and newspapers and poster boards, and we actually then take our vision, our hope for our lives, and find pictures that are examples of that. And we put them on poster boards so that we can actually put them on a wall somewhere, put them on a desk somewhere, where we can have a visual representation of our dreams, our hopes, our desires, so that we are constantly reminded that we have goals and we're going to move forward. Even if it's a baby step, we're going to move forward in our direction. I'm a firm believer in the law of attraction. I'm a firm believer in when you see a thing, day in and day out, it begins to lay a seed in your heart that really grows. And so this was a networking opportunity that not only did I get from networking online, so it is possible, but again, because I was there at the event, I also networked at the event and met people from all over the world. We had people that are from the diasporas of Liberia and Iraq, and locally in this nation, Chicago, Texas was in the house, Florida was in the house, California was in the house. So, Benicia, in your case, have you ever been to a vision party before?
Oh, absolutely. I host one here in Atlanta every year in January. So I absolutely love those when it comes to really setting the stage for the year. So I love vision parties. I call them vision parties, purpose parties. I've called them before. But, yeah, it's really about setting the stage for your coming year.
Absolutely not. And they're a great opportunity to network. And so, one of the tips that I have is go on Eventbrite, go on Facebook, type in the word vision party, type in the word business group, business mentorship, whatever the case may, whatever keyword that you find in your heart is a word that like-minded people that you're looking to connect and collaborate with would use. Go ahead and put that and find those kind of events. You may find those events are online. Online summits are quite popular nowadays, or it might be in person. But it's a great opportunity to network virtually or in person and connect. Now, have you ever used Facebook or another type of social media to network? Have you ever used that before, Benicia?
Absolutely, absolutely. In fact, I believe that you, Kristen, and I came together because of a group we were in on Facebook. And we started a Periscope pod and moved from there. So yes, definitely. I even have a free group that I have right now for women who are moving into their power and their purpose. And it's a group of collaboration and networking as well. So I have a group for hosting a group, and I've also been in them. I love them.
Wonderful. And so we're both, if you don't believe it, because a lot of people don't believe what they see or hear, right? We are both living testaments, living examples of your ability to use online, to use technology to actually meet with people who are like minded individuals that you can grow in a relationship and even in business with. Now, another tip that I have is that during the conversation, when you're meeting someone, it is so important that you focus on the other person. Learn what makes them tick. Ask questions, listen, and observe. Yes, you want to introduce yourself, but I'm going to tell you, people love talking about themselves. If you want to have an instant connection, sometimes people ask me, Benicia, and how do you have an instant connection with people? I have that connection because I do ask questions, because I do want to learn about them. And it's not just because I'm thinking about the end. I'm doing it because I am interested, keenly interested in learning about people. Now, what's your stance on that, Benicia? You think that's important, or how do you attempt to learn more about people and really get that instant connection?
I absolutely do. I think that that is very important. And in fact, that's a large part of why I am able to be successful in getting clients. When I'm able to talk to them and I can really hear what they need and really mirror back to them what they need, I close every time because of the connection that I'm able to bring. And so I think it's really important that you're able to hear clearly what people are saying and not always have you in mind, but how can you help them? How can you show up to help someone else?
Absolutely. How can you show up to help someone else? And listen, for some of you, you say to me, well, you know what, Anne? I don't know about this online networking. I'm more of a traditionalist. I need to meet people. I need to see the sun in their smile, the sparkle in their eye. Okay. Now, for those of you who want to go it traditionally, or maybe you want to mix it up, some of you are thinking, well, I would love to go to a conference. And a lot of times people think money is stopping them from networking because the conference fees can be so high, right? They can be a grand, a couple of grand, 3 grand. So here is a tip that you can do locally. If you are in a major city, more than likely you have a conference center hall that runs a lot of conferences through their chamber of commerce, through the city, at that convention center or whatever the case may be. Maybe you can't afford to get in the building, but here's a tip, you guys. The people who are attending this event, they're staying at local hotels, they're going to local restaurants and bars, they're participating in happy hour around the city. Go out to those local hotels that are near the convention center. You're going to meet the same people that you would have met in the convention hall. I will tell you, when I was a college student, when I was new in corporate America, I bootstrapped it and I did just that and met amazing people while I was living in Chicago and now Miami using that free 99 method. We love free 99. Have you ever just gone to a hotel or restaurant or happy hour to meet people instead of going to the full out event, Benicia?
No. I
Listen,
have
it's a
not.
great tip.
It really, I think that is a great tip. I've never done that again because I am like, I really am an introvert and I really have the slower approach of making connections. I haven't tried some of these things, but I think that, hey, I think that they definitely work, and I really would love to put those into action. So that's going to be next time I see a big conference here in Atlanta. They're here all the time. I'm gonna do that.
You'll meet some amazing people. And you know what the cool thing is? You're going to meet them when they're relaxed. They're letting their hair down. They're at happy hour, right? They're in the hotel lobby and bar. And so you actually are going to be able to get their more authentic self. You talked earlier about authenticity. You're going to be able to get their authentic self. Their hair is going to be down, and it's going to be a great time. Now, the other tip that I have is understand that the first sentence you say is probably the most difficult when you're speaking to someone in person. And I have an easy tip and trick for you to get the conversation going. And that is to simply ask someone for the time. Ask them what time it is. Most people want to be helpful, but there is a very awkward moment where you're like, okay, I want to talk to this person. I want to turn around and start a conversation, but how do I start it? And a great question that I love to ask is, what time is it? Because most people are like, oh, sure. They'll look at their phone, they'll look at their watch, they'll tell you the time. So now they've helped you. And now you can say, oh, thank you so much. And now you can go into your next lead in question, which is, thank you so much. How are you? Or how did you learn about the conference? These are easy questions that a third grader, a first grader can ask someone, but it's a great way to get the ball rolling when you're networking with new people. Do you have a favorite question that you ask people when you first meet them, Benicia?
You know what? No, I don't. I like that question that the icebreaker type question. I really don't. Usually at a networking event, I'll say hello. I'll say, hi, my name is Benicia. How are you? Those kind of things. Or ask them, oh, where are you from? Those kind of things. But I like the time question too, because it kind of breaks the ice without being overly aggressive.
Exactly. It breaks the ice. And, sometimes the reason I don't lead usually with how are you, because we are really in such a situation where most people just say fine. And I feel like it's so dead when they just say fine. And so that's why I usually don't lead with that. We have a Facebook person that just came on, John Kelly. Hello, John Kelly. He says, another great show, excellent information, love it. Well, we love you. Thank you so much. To our audience members out there, we are here because of you, and of course, Bloomberg Business Week, but we are here because of you. Thank you so much for your time. Don't forget to hit that share button because sharing is caring. Now, the other thing that I feel as though a lot of people drop the ball with is follow up. Follow up. Those two things, follow up. That phrase is a lot of times we can get as coaches, as consultants, we can get people to an event. We can get them to attempt to do online networking, but then they don't do the follow up. Have you ever been guilty of not doing the follow-up, Benicia?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yes. And that is, like you said, that is one of the hardest things. So what I have learned to do is to immediately connect with someone via Facebook or social media and send them a message or take a picture with them at the event and tag them and say, hey, it was so great. That way, there's a memory there, and there is something that causes built-in type of follow-up instead of taking a business card and saying, oh, okay, we'll catch up later. But right there in that moment saying, oh, following them on Facebook or sending them a friend request or taking a picture with them and posting it and tagging them in the picture, those kind of things have built-in follow-up.
Absolutely. And it's so important that you do it. I like to use the phrase, do it in the power of now. Most of us are at the event with our cell phones. Go ahead when you just walk away from the person to send them a quick text message, or at the end of the night before you drive off in your car to go ahead and send messages. But use the power of now, because the reality is if you let more than a day or two pass by, you're probably going to have forgotten about it, right? It goes to the end of the to-do list. And just like that, an hour has passed. I just want to quickly tell the audience how you can connect with me. Again, I am Ann Charlius of Shero Rising. I'm the former director of legal and public affairs for the Minority Chamber of Commerce, where I've helped over 5,000 businesses, 1 million employees, and accumulation of $10 billion in revenue really grow their business. And I would love to connect in collaboration with you in this spirit of Friendsgiving. Go ahead and text the word Shero. That's SHERO to the number 77948. That's Shero, SHERO to 77948, or you can go to the website sherorising.org, sherorising.org. And listen, this 3-team dynamic team is here every Tuesday night, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Thank you, Bloomberg Business Week, for bringing us to this amazing audience. You have a great night, and see you next week. Don't forget, power up and soar. This is the Power Biz Show. Have a good night.
The opinions expressed on the preceding sponsored program were strictly those of its hosts, guests, and callers.